The cool thing about the first week of the regular season in the NFL is that most teams, logically not every single one of them, but more than half of the league can feel optimistic that if they get some good breaks and things go their way, they could be in the playoff mix. They can get to the playoffs, and from there, who knows, right? And it's important to remember that when we're talking about week one of the regular season because so much is unknown. It's all paper and preseason and practices, and we're talking about practice and how that's going to translate or not to games. I mean, come on. So here we are. You could feel it in your bones, can't you? We're getting close. Sunday is just a little bit of ways away. It's time for some Bears football! I certainly hope not. I hope we don't see something on Sunday that is reminiscent of, put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up. I'm the offensive coordinator. I know what I'm doing. Swear to God. I know my job. I got it. I figured it out. I thought of this long and hard. They'll never see it coming. 1st and 10, halfback dive. I'll admit, I'm going to miss that. But if the sacrifice is no more of that shit, the loss of a gimmick to win more football games, be relevant, competitive, and potentially in the future contenders, then it is freaking worth it for this middle-aged man. So let's talk about this week one matchup with the Titans and the Bears. And let's start with Tennessee. In the offseason, they gave Calvin Ridley the bag, gave a sizable bag, I guess, on a shorter term, to Tony Pollard and Lloyd Cushenberry. Certainly got a big payday to be their starting center. Defensively, they signed guys like Kenneth Murray and Chidobe Awuzie. Also added Tyler Boyd to that offense. Big trade with Kansas City that was really a steal for them. Only having to give up a third-round pick to bring in a high-end corner like L'Jarius Sneed. So this is a team that invested some in the offseason under their new head coach, Brian Callahan. It's going to be interesting to see what type of offensive system he puts into place. And you look at the Titans and you say, hey, this is a team that's got some pieces on the offense, right? Maybe get another solid season at least out of DeAndre Hopkins. Gave Calvin Ridley the bag. Does Treylon Burks in year 3 start to play up to his draft position and to his potential? So there's some weapons there for Will Levis to work with. But this is a big season for this organization for Will Levis. He's the unquestioned starter heading into year 2. And if he can establish his fucking mayonnaise-eating ass, his mayonnaise-loving ass, that he can be the guy, then the Titans get a whole lot more interesting in a big hurry in that division, right? As you're talking about a division that has C.J. Stroud and Trevor Lawrence and Anthony Richardson, the Titans need Levis to be able to step up and be in that mix and be talked about with those guys. Because at differing levels and varying degrees, like all three of them, could be around for a long time in that division. So if you're the Titans, you got to have a dude at that position. Meanwhile, for the Bears, the Caleb Williams era has officially begun. And it's reason for excitement, right? Rookie quarterback always represents something new. But it goes beyond that. The Bears offense feels what I view as the best group of skill players, not just in my lifetime, but in organization history. Their defense has some high-end players in Montez Sweat and Jalen Johnson. I throw maybe T.J. Edwards in there as well. You look overall at their defense and the back seven of that defense, in particular the secondary, with what they've invested there, bringing in Kevin Byard in the offseason. That should be a really good secondary, and if it's not, something has went dramatically wrong either with the players, the coaching, or a combination of the mix. Concern for the Bears heading into the season, I'm certainly not alone in this thought. I think this is a pretty common refrain, is that they're potentially vulnerable in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Their trenches, they're going to need some guys to step up. They're going to need their big names to stay healthy and really produce at a high level, and they need other guys to show that they can step up and be worthy, if you will. The line for this game at the time of this recording on Friday night, the Bears are 3.5-point favorites, and the over-under is 45. Always hard, especially with these week one games, to get much of a feel. At least the Bears are getting a little bit more than the standard like home field advantage, 3-point spread, if you will. In terms of the keys to victory to this game for both teams, for the Titans, you got to be able to exploit some of those soft spots in the Bears' zone defense. When the Bears go zone, in that cover two, you've got some openings there. Joe, over the middle, on the outside, about 15 yards down the field, Will Levis has to be able to attack them early, often, and pretty proficiently. They've got to be able to, with Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears, be able to not only commit to the running game, but be able to execute the running game consistently. You can get after this Bears team on the ground early on. It throws them off balance as a defense, which it can do for a lot of NFL teams, right? And I'm not trying to be old school, run the ball, establish the run, Bears football! Not trying to do that at all. But it is a thing of, you've got a young quarterback, you want to give him some balance, keep that defense off balance. And then defensively, a big thing, especially with Caleb Williams, and the questions around how well he can execute within structure. If you're the Titans, pass rush is great to have, but it's not the most important thing. You don't want to sell out to do it. Stay disciplined. Maintain, contain with your defensive front. Force Caleb to beat you in the pocket. Because if you allow him to improvise, he can definitely beat you there. He did it in college, and he's certainly going to do that quite a bit at the NFL level. In terms of the Bears' keys to victory, get Caleb Williams comfortable early. Don't be sitting there and hiding by running DeAndre Swift and Khalil Herbert a ton. Get him quick, easy passes early on. Get him into the flow. Get him comfortable with the speed. Get him comfortable with the structure. And then take your damn shots. As part of that theme of getting Caleb comfortable early, get DJ Moore and Keenan Allen involved and interested early. You have two legit guys here, right? And you throw in Rome Odunze, the rookie, and Cole Kmet. They got weapons, but you got to get DJ Moore and Keenan Allen involved. Because if you do, then that's going to cause some problems for the Titans secondary and could open up opportunities for some of the other guys. And then defensively, they got to be able to get some pass rush outside of Montez Sweat. Now, I'm not going to question Sweat in terms of his ability to get to the quarterback. He's not elite, but he's pretty solid, has been for a number of years. But when you look at the rest of that defensive line, where's that other pass rush going to come from? Who's that complementary edge guy? Who's that guy in the interior that can collapse the pocket and get in Will Levis's face directly? Fair question. I don't know if they have that guy right now, but they're going to need somebody to be able to generate some pressure outside of Sweat. As I look at this matchup, it's week one. I look at the Titans and I say, Will Levis has a little more help on that offense. Obviously, they drafted Skoronski, playing him at guard from last year's draft, and then this year they took J.C. Latham. So they've started addressing that offensive line. Like this, in some ways, could be an improved Titans team, but it will come down to how Levis plays. I think right now the Bears are just a better team on paper, and that's what I got to roll with in week one. So I'm going to take the Bears to win 24-16. That's right. It's bear down, bitches! And hopefully come Sunday, I'll be talking about post-game how the Bears skull-fuck the Titans and they're about to skull-fuck the entire NFC North this year.